Mishnah Gimel. Let's do one more. One more, yeah. משנתנו מוסיפה ללמד במלאכות שאסור לעשותם בשבת. המשנה continues to teach all kinds of work one will not be allowed to do on Shabbat, כדרך שעושים אותם בחול. The way you would do it on a weekday. In other words, you have to do it with a שינוי, with a change. אבל דרך שינוי מותר, but with a change, you will be allowed to do it. אין שורים בשבת את החלטית. You're not allowed to put water on Shabbat on a certain plant, on a chitit, put water, dilute, I think the word is. You're not allowed to dilute the chitit. Min tzemach, chiltit is a kind of plant שמשתמשים בו לרפואה ולתבלין, that you use it for medicine and for a spice. Like cumin, I don't know. בפושרים. You're allowed to do it במים פושרים, with regular water, room temperature water. לפי שנראה כמעשה חול, because that's the way you would do it on a regular weekday. ויש מבארים הטעם. There are those who explains the reason. It's not because you're not allowed to do it. You will be allowed to do it. It's food, so you'll be allowed to. It's like tea. You're allowed to do whatever you want on Shabbat. Also, when it comes to that, but here we're not going to allow you to do it. Why? לפי שנזכר הדבר שעושה לרפואה, because now it looks like you're doing it. Now you're showing that you're doing it for medicine, and we say, once you're going for medicine, it's a problem. וגזרו משום שחיקת סממנים, and they don't let you because they say once we let you do that, you're going to grind spices, you're going to grind your medicine on Shabbat. but נותן את החלטית לתוך החומץ. You're allowed to put the plant into vinegar, because then it's for food for sure. בשבת הוא מטבל בו את מאכלו, and then you're allowed to put the spice in it. You're allowed to eat it with it. Finish that part. ואין שורין את הקרשינים. You don't dilute, you don't put water on קרשינים. קרשינים is מין קטניות. It's a type of legume. I think you feed it to the animals.
It's a good קטניות for the animals.
Yeah, and you put it inside so it becomes thick, so it will, the animal will be satiated. שמשתמשים בהם למאכל בהמה. You give it as an animal food. משנתנו בא ללמד, our Mishnah comes to teach, שאסור לתת עליהם מים, you're not allowed to put on it water, כדי שתצוף הפסולת למעלה, לפי שהוא קוברר. It says, why would you put water? Not for what I said. Why would you put water? Because you want the bad stuff to float to the top and not feed it to the animal.
Like sweet.
Yeah, and then what are you doing? Then you're taking the bad stuff out. So this is called boirer, so don't do it. ולא שפין אותה, for the same reason, you don't go like this with your hand. You don't rub it. ואין משפשפים את הקרשינים ביד, להסיר את הפסולת. Again, because you're doing it to remove the bad part. מהטעם האמור שזהו כבורר. But what are you allowed to do? אבל נותן את הקרשינים לתוך הקברה, but you take it into a big sieve, they have like the big sieves, או לתוך הכלכלה, or you put it into a big basket, ואף על פי שהפסולת נופלת לפעמים דרך הקברה, and even though the bad stuff sometimes falls from the bottom, או דרך נקבי הסל, or through the holes of the basket, מותר, that you're allowed to. לפי שברירה זו מעליה היא באה, because it's going to happen by its own, you're not trying to do it. It just happens. In other words, it's not the way. אין קוברים את התבן בקברה, you don't sieve the hay, animal food in the קברה, כדי להפיל ממנו את המוט סדק. In other words, by the way, today they don't have this problem at all. For example, the animals, you give just pure hay, right? It says, why are you able to give the animals pure hay? Yeah, it's almost alfalfa. Or just alfalfa. Yeah. It says, why are you able to do it today? Because today they have machines. So what do? They go and before they cut the alfalfa, they take the top of the alfalfa off. And only then they cut it. So they have only the good stuff, they don't have the bad stuff. But in that time, they're not going to go through the field twice. They cut the whole thing down, and then they have to separate the top and the bottom. You know, they don't have the machinery that twice the field. You're crazy. They're not going to do that. So that's what it says. And then you'll have to separate the bad stuff, because that's bad for the animals, from the good stuff. So this is what אין קוברים את התפן בקברה, כדי להפיל ממנו את המוט סדק. So that you're going to take the thin produce, הבא מזקן השיבולת, שלא יזיק לבהמה. You do it so that you're not going to harm the animal. It's bad for the animals, that part. ולא יתננו על גבי מקום גבוה. Also, don't put it in a basket on a high place, for example, so that it will come down. You know, that בשביל שירד המוץ, כדי שהרוח יזרה את המוץ, the wind will come, or on top of the roof, don't put it. Don't put it on top of the roof, the wind will come and will separate it. משום שזהו כבורר, because you actually are separating. אבל נוטה לו בקברה, but again you can do, if you want to go and walk with it to the animal, you put it in a sieve, כדי לתנוע בבהמה, ונותן ממנה לתוך האבוס. אף שעל ידי כך נופל קצת מוץ מאליו, even though the bed separates a little bit by itself, you're allowed to do it. יש מפרשים שמשנתנו יחידת רבי שמעון, there are those who say that our Mishnah is according to רבי שמעון, הסובר שדבר שאינו מתכוון לא מותר לעשותו בשבת. רבי שמעון says, if that wasn't your intention, you're allowed to do it on Shabbat. והרי כאן אינו מתכוון לקבור את התבן בקברה, over here you're not trying to separate, you're trying to feed the animal, and it happens on the way. והמוץ נופל מאליו, and the moth falls by itself. Again, what's the idea behind it? It's like the big machloket that we have. For example, if you have a table outside in your yard, it's a very heavy table, and it's got legs, and you want to move it inside, or you want to move it indoors. So when you move it, it makes holes in the ground. That's right, you're plowing. So the question is, are you allowed to do it? So some say you're allowed to do it because your intention is not to plow. That's what Rabbi Shimon says. It's something over here. You'll be allowed to do it because that's not your intention. Your intention is, it's like telling me I'm not allowed to walk on Shabbat even though my walking going to make holes.
Yeah, you step on the grass.
That's right. Step on the grass will come out.
Okay.
He says, no, it's okay. You're allowed to walk normally. Don't worry about it. Okay?